Hello, hello, and welcome. I'm Cheryl, and this is Your Journey Yoga. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm kind of excited about today's session. So we are going to work hamstrings and glutes. Super important muscle groups, guys, for just overall health and well-being and posture and gait and balance. And oftentimes a really challenging set of muscles to actually really engage effectively and efficiently. Oftentimes we have the quads taking over for us. So a lot of people think glute work, right? Squats, that kind of thing. Unless you're doing them properly, yeah, your quads will take over. So we're going to really focus on hamstrings and those buns. So stretching as well as strengthening. So it's going to be a fantastic session. I hope you love it. I hope you subscribe. I hope you spread the word and help me reach even many more people. So thank you for being here. So you guys, we're going to start in a tabletop position today. So water handy, if you need it, take a break whenever you need one. And first, we're just going to kind of get the body moving. So in our tabletop position, we're going to do some cat and cows. As you take a big breath in, lower your belly towards the mat, lift your gaze, and lift your sit bones to the sky. Exhale, hollow the tummy and chest, lift your spine, tuck your chin. Oh, press the floor away. That feels so good. Inhale it back to cow. And exhaling it to cat. Inhaling it back to cow. We're going to do 2 more each direction. And exhaling it back to cat. And let's do 1 more, guys, using those big, full, deep breaths. And coming back to that neutral spine. Core is strong. We're going to extend right leg straight out behind us and flex that right foot. Core is strong. We're going to work to keep those hips side by side. We're going to lower the toes and lift the toes just to hip height. Lower and lift. So we lift to hip height, making sure that we are not arching the back. So as we lift and lower, I want you to keep that foot flexed and pressing through that heel. And I want you to feel how it starts to warm up through the glutes and the hamstrings. Those are big muscle groups, guys. So we really want to feel that engagement and that warm, fuzzy feeling. 1 more time. And now we're going to cross up and over the foot and then back to hip height. Cross over the foot and back to hip height. Cross and hip. Keeping the core strong and keeping the rest of the body stable as possible. So we're just moving that right leg. And breathe. And 1 more. And back to center. And release it down. You feel that? It feels good. Core is strong. Extend the left leg and flex that left foot. Core is strong. So again, you might notice that one side's a little more challenging, and I want you to notice kind of the weight distribution in your hands. We want to stay as level and as even as possible as we lower and tap the toes and lift back to hip height. Again, just to hip height so that we make sure we're not arching that back. Staying strong through that belly. Draw that belly button in and up. And breathe. So you might just start to feel that warm, fuzzy feeling on one side faster than the other. Fine. It's absolutely fine. That just means one side's not quite as strong as the other. And we all have that. And as you start to fatigue, I want you to make sure that that belly button's still drawn in and up. And we're not lifting that left hip. Let's do 2 more. And 1 more. Now let's take it up and over, cross, and back to hip height. Straight out from behind that left hip. Cross, and back to hip. Cross, and hip. Starting to feel it? I hope so. Cross, and back to hip height. Cross, and back to hip height. 2 more. And last one. Beautiful. Draw it in. Sit it back to child's pose. Extend those arms out nice and long. And just stretch out your back. Let your body settle. We're going to lift just slightly and walk the hands to the left, reaching through the right fingertips, and press your hips to the right and relax the weight of your head down. So a little stretch for that right hip and through that right side of the lower back. Just an added bonus stretch all through that right side, through the ribs and the waist and through the arm. Inhale, lift just slightly. Walk it over to the right, reaching through your left fingertips. Press your hips to the left and relax the weight of the upper body down. Inhale, lift, walk it back through to center. Extend those arms out nice and long. Hands shoulder width apart. Spread your fingers wide. Let's lift the forehead, tuck the toes. Press and lift the hips to the sky. So our downward facing dog, such a great pose. Feeling that stretch through the hamstrings, through the calves, through those Achilles tendons, through the spine and through the shoulders. But we really want to focus on those hamstrings. So we're going to work those heels gently towards the mat, making sure there's no tension going on through the neck or the shoulders. And let's just gently alternate bending knees. Walk it out. Finding those big deep breaths, guys. So if you have super tight hamstrings, guys, you're in good company. And it just takes time. It takes consistency. You know those poses that you really don't like? Those are the ones you need the most. So, keeping that in mind, keeping a good attitude, keeping a smile on your face as best you can, we work through those challenging poses, guys. Celebrating the little successes, those baby steps. The breath is a little bit easier, not quite so intense. Let's inhale it up to the balls of the feet. Exhale, press the chest and shoulders toward your thighs. Reach your sit bones high, and then as you exhale, let your heels sink. Taking the gaze between your hands, walk your feet in to forward fold. So as we come into our forward fold, you might notice a little more of an intense stretch down the backs of the legs. We're just going to gently alternate bending knees. So just walk it out. Just feeling that nice long stretch down the back of the straight leg, making sure we're not hyperextending the knees. We're not feeling too much pressure behind the knees. Coming back to center, both legs long. Again, if you're feeling pressure behind those knees, just softly bend them. Let's bring the hands to the elbows and hold on and gently sway side to side. Coming back to center, releasing your arms, shifting your weight back towards your heels. Core is strong, and we're going to slowly lower the legs. I want you to see if you can lift all 10 toes. We want to keep those toes lifted so we stay firing up through those hamstrings. As low as you can come, keeping those toes lifted. Now, if your heels want to lift, don't let them. Keep those toes lifted, and then slowly extend those legs. Toes are still lifted to your forward fold. Let's do that 2 more times, bending as low as feels okay to you, taking care of the knees, being mindful that those toes are still lifted, those heels are pressing through the mat. As we extend, let's do that 1 more time. Slowly lower. Keeping those heels down. And extend. Breathe. Let's slowly lower. This time we're going to hold it down. I want you to keep those toes lifted. Pull the hands to heart center. And we're going to press through those heels and rise. Core is strong. Pressing through those heels. Feel those glutes. Extend the arms to the sky. Release your toes to the mat. And exhale, arch it back a little or a lot. And inhale it up nice and tall. Open the arms out to a T. Soft shoulders. We're going to shift our weight to our left foot. Right toes are going to go straight back. Big toe just barely touching the mat. And we're going to lift and we're going to hold. So we're not leaning forward. We're staying nice and tall. Now flex your foot. You should really feel those glutes and that hamstring. Really fire up. Hold. Just hold. Now if it feels right to you, hinge forward a little bit more to warrior 3. and back to that holding position. Leg is up. We're not releasing it to the mat unless you need it to. And hinge it forward. And come back up. Now if you want a little more challenge, extend those arms overhead. Hinge it forward. And back up. Are you still squeezing those buns? So by lifting that right leg, we're engaging those hamstrings and those glutes. And by that hinge forward, oh, we get the other leg as well. Let's do one more. Stand tall. Go ahead and release that right leg. Pull the hands to heart center. Shake out. Shake them out. And come back to center. Extending those arms back out to a T, core is strong. Staying upright. We shift our weight to our right foot. Left toes come back. Big toe just barely touching. So I want you to feel as you pull that left leg back, we've already engaged those glutes and the hamstrings. If you like, lift the leg a little bit. So by engaging those glutes even more, the leg lifts. Staying strong through that belly, making sure we're not overarching the back. Breathe. Just hold and breathe. Squeeze the buns. Keeping that tall posture, but lifting that leg as high as you can without leaning forward and not overarching the back. Now, if you like, hinge it forward and come back. Keeping that leg lifted unless you need to tap the toe. Hinge it forward. And rise. One more with those arms out to a T, and then we'll intensify if you like. And back up if you like. Take those arms overhead. Squeeze those buns, guys. Hinge it forward. And rise. Again, we hinge. And we rise. One more time. Hinge. And rise. Release that left foot. Pull the hands to heart center. Open those arms to a low V. Lift your chest to the sky. Gaze to the sky. Just some added bonuses, guys, of those chest stretch. Inhale, reach to the sky. Pull the hands to heart center. Inhale, reach. And exhale, swan dive to forward fold. And just relax the weight of the upper body down. Checking in with that lower back. Finding that breath. We lift just slightly and shift our hands out in front of our left foot. And we're going to shift our weight to that left foot as we extend that right leg to the sky. And we're going to lift that right leg just as high as we can get it. And then we're going to shift some weight into that left heel. Again, lifting those toes. We're going to inhale and bend that left knee, drawing that right foot behind that left ankle, coming into a tight little squat. Now press through that left heel as you extend the legs and flex that right heel to the sky. Inhale, bend it down, tight little squat. Exhale and press it back up. So all the while those left toes stay lifted off the mat. Inhale, squat. And exhale, press. Now those quads are going to feel this, but by keeping those toes lifted, we fire up those hamstrings. And we keep that right foot flexed. Yes, firing up those hamstrings. Last one. Extend and press. And gently release it down to forward fold. Bring the hands to the elbows, hold on, soft bend in those knees, and just gently sway side to side. Breathe. So that one-legged squat, guys, can be pretty darn intense. Coming back to center, release your arms. Lift just slightly, shift the hands out in front of the right toes, left toes to the sky. Flex your foot. Now we're going to shift our weight back towards that right heel and lift those right toes, all 5 of them, guys. And as you inhale, bend the right knee, lower that left leg right behind that right heel, and then exhale, extend and press. Toes are lifted, left foot is flexed. Inhale, draw it in, tight little squat. Exhale and press it out. Again, inhale, draw it in. Exhale and press it out. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, draw it in, core is strong. Press through that right heel. Squeeze at the top. Let's do one more. Big exhale, extend and press. And gently release it down to forward fold. Inhale up to monkey half lift. Exhale down. Inhale, reverse swan dive up. Exhale, left hand down, right arm high, lean in and reach. Inhale, both arms come up. Exhale, other side, lean in and reach. And inhale, both arms come up. Exhale, arms down by your sides. Circle the hands to heart center. Inhale, reach to the sky. Exhale, swan dive to forward fold. Inhale up to monkey half lift. Exhale down, walk, step or hop to high plank. Crocodile down. Press it through, up dog. And exhale to down dog. Find that breath. We shift our weight to our left foot, right toes reach straight back, keeping those hips side by side. Big, full, deep breaths. Add a flex of that right foot. Now we're going to keep those hips side by side and lift that right leg as high as you can get it without opening those hips. As you exhale, sweep that right foot through. Back foot's going to step halfway in, turning that left foot out to about a 45-degree angle, and we're going to square those hips. Releasing the weight of the upper body down, working to center the upper body onto that right leg. Our pyramid pose. Hands are on either side of the foot to help manage balance and to keep that left hip drawn forward, right hip back. You should feel a pretty intense stretch down the back of that right leg. If you're not really feeling it, check, because our body is going to try and open to make things a little easier. But draw that left hip forward, right hip back. And if you like, bring the hands around behind your back. Interlace your fingers. If you were able and would like, bring the palms to touch. Another option is to have the hands at the forearms or the elbows. We're going to roll those shoulders up and back if you've taken a hold of those hands and interlace the fingers. Otherwise, just go ahead and release the hands on the small of the back. Or keep those hands on either side of the foot. As you lift those arms, that's going to intensify things further. Breathe. Our pyramid pose is a holy cow kind of stretch for the hamstring. If you're feeling that, you are in the right place, gazing towards your left big toe. We have this tendency to kind of look forward towards that right big toe. Relax the weight of the head. Let go of that tension in the neck. Bring the hands to the small of the back. Lengthen through the crown of the head, and let's slowly rise. Coming all the way up. Keeping those hips facing front. Arch it back. Oh, open those chests to the sky. Draw those knuckles towards the floor. Open your heart, inhaling it up nice and tall. Releasing your hands, stepping forward to mountain. Inhale, reach to the sky. Exhale, circle the arms around. Pull into heart center. Inhale, reach. And exhale, swan dive to forward fold. Inhale up to monkey half lift. Exhale down, walk, step or hop to high plank. Crocodile down. Press it through, up dog. And exhale to down dog. Just take a moment and just noticing the body, how it's feeling. Warmer, strong, healthy. We shift our weight to our right foot, left toes reach straight back, hips side by side. So we really want to keep those hips level. As you add a flex of that left foot, we're going to lift that left leg as high as we can without opening those hips. Breathe. As you exhale, sweep that left foot through. Back foot's going to step in to about halfway between your forward fold and your down dog. So it's a pretty narrow stance. That right foot's turned out to about a 45-degree angle, and we're going to work to square those hips. Drawing that right hip forward and that left hip back. Lifting just slightly to lengthen through the crown of the head, and then slowly release the weight of the upper body down, working to place the center of the tummy and chest to that left leg. Hands again on either side of the foot to help with balance, to keep those hips side by side, because your body's pretty tricky. It's going to figure out how to make things easier. If you like, and you can maintain those hips being square, bring your hands around behind your back and either interlace your fingers or take a hold of the forearms. Now, if you've taken a hold of the forearms, or if you just choose to do so, let those hands rest on the small of the back. If you like, roll those shoulders up and back, lift your hands towards the sky. So again, we want to be mindful, taking that gaze towards that right big toe. Rather than looking forward, that's tension in that neck and the shoulders. We don't want that. We want to release that tension. Full, big, deep breaths. Pyramid pose kind of has a love-hate relationship with most people. If you love it, yay, celebrate that. If it's not your favorite pose, ask yourself why. Is it because your hamstrings really need it? Well, that's why we're here, guys. Slowly bring the hands to the small of the back. Lengthen through the crown of the head, core strong. Let's hinge it all the way up. And as you exhale, arch it back. Reach your knuckles back towards the ground. Gaze to the sky. Roll those shoulders back. Open your chest. And inhale it back up nice and tall. Release your hands. Step it forward to mountain. Inhale, reach to the sky. Exhale, swan dive to forward fold. Inhale, up to monkey half lift. Exhale, down walk, step or hop to high plank. And let's take it super slow all the way down onto our tummies. So you can come from your toes or your knees, but take your time. Make it last to get there. Elbows right by the rib cage, all the way down to your tummy. Tops of the feet to the mat, and just release the nose and the chin to the mat. Find your breath. And as you inhale, let's lift the upper body, allowing those hands to just stay resting to the mat, gazing forward out towards the top center of your mat or just a little bit beyond. And gently release it down. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, squeeze your buns, point your toes. See how much of your thigh you can get off of the mat. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And release. Again, upper body. Take a big breath in. And exhale, lift. This time, if you like, lift your hands. Gazing out towards the top center of your mat or just beyond. And release. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, squeeze your buns. Point those toes. How much of your thighs can you get off the mat? Breathe. And release. Now we're going to tie those two together. You can keep your hands resting where they are, or circle the arms around behind your back, interlacing your fingers. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, lift upper and lower. If those arms are behind you, reach those knuckles back towards your heels. If your hands are down by your sides, no worries, let them support you. Locust pose. And release. We're going to do that one more time. So you decide where those hands need to be. Challenge yourself, but honor wherever you are. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, lift. Squeeze those buns, point those toes. Reach through those knuckles if those arms are behind you. And release. Release your hands. Turn your cheek, whichever cheek you like, towards the mat. Just take a moment. All right, guys. So we're going to keep firing up that posterior chain, all the muscles throughout the back of the body. If you need to slide back, slide back. I think I'm exaggerating about how long my arms are. I don't think they're that long. But anyway, I gave myself a little more room. Give yourself some too if you need to. We're going to turn the face back towards the mat and extend those arms back out. So arms extended out overhead. Breathe. Now your option is to just work with those legs and have those hands supporting where they were, where we just were in our locust pose, or that first cobra. As you're ready, take a big breath in, and as you exhale, lift. Upper and lower body, you can stay right here, just gazing down towards your mat, or kick the arms and the legs. Just as quickly as you can kick them. We're swimming. Breathe. Pointing those toes, squeezing those buns, and release. Take a second. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, lift, squeeze, and kick. Arms and legs, flutter kicks. Breathe. Point those toes. And release. We've got one more set. Big breath in and out here. As you exhale, lift and kick. So again, gazing forward, so we're not looking way forward, we're just looking down towards the mat. We're pointing those toes, we're kicking those arms, we're kicking those legs, we're squeezing those buns. And release. Pull the hands right by your chest and press it back to child's pose. So that was a lot of work for the back of the body. Just let yourself sink. Breathe. You did awesome today. Really nice work. So we're going to get a couple final stretches in and one more little set of work. As you're ready, walk your hands up. Come over onto one hip. Sweep your feet around and slide on down to the top of the mat. So we've done our forward folds standing. We're going to do it sitting. Flex those feet. Inhale, reach to the sky. Exhale, lengthen and hinge it forward. Release your hands. And just relax the weight of your head. Just let your body melt. If this is too intense, guys, just soften those feet. You can prop those knees up if you've got a blanket, a towel, a pillow, and bending those knees gives you a little bit of a release, a great modification. If you like, you can walk those hands forward, reaching through the crown of the head, drawing those toes back towards the crown of the head, just making the backs of the legs as long as we can make them. Now, depending upon how tight you are, you can literally feel this from the base of your head all the way down your back, through your buns and down the backs of the legs, and all the way to the soles of your feet. So just tune in. Some days better than others, guys. Again, it's always, always, always about attitude and consistency. Taking care of yourself. Doing things that you know are good for you, even when they're challenging. Inhale, reach it out. Sit up nice and tall. Soften your feet, and ever so slowly, roll yourself back. Take your time. And relax. Drawing that right knee in. Extending that right leg. Point your toes. And then flex your foot. And just feel how that intensifies things down the back of the leg. Now we can keep those arms extended out to a T, or you can take a hold of that right leg and just gently pull the leg in. So we're working to keep that leg as long as we can. And just feel that great stretch all the way down the back of the leg. If you like, lift the upper body, drawing your nose towards that right knee. Releasing the weight of the upper body back down. Gently releasing the intensity with those arms. Extend the arms out to a T. Point your toes. Little external rotation through that hip. So draw your heel inward, pinky toe out, and then slowly lower your leg all the way down. Left knee comes in. Extend that left leg. Point your toes. Close your eyes and just really focus on what your body's telling you. Now flex your foot. Oh, feel that big stretch all the way down the backs of the legs. Now let's take those hands up, reaching up, taking a hold anywhere along the leg you like, and start to pull that leg in. So what if we can't even reach that leg? No worries, you guys. Really work on flexing the foot and just feel that amazing stretch. So wherever it is that your body is ready to go, honor that and celebrate it. We're working to keep that length in the legs. I want you to feel that amazing stretch down the back of that left leg. Now we've done a ton of work, both stretching for flexibility and for strengthening. So just noticing how the body responds. If you like, lift that upper body. Draw the nose towards the knee towards the nose. Breathe. And gently releasing the weight of the upper body back down. Releasing the hands, point your toes. Little external rotation through that hip, and slowly lower the leg down. And allow it to come to rest. Hands come down by your sides, and we're going to pull the feet in right up by your bottom. Feet are hip width apart. We're going to tuck the pelvis so that the small of the back presses into the mat, and press through your heels as you start to lift your hips to the sky. Coming up to bridge pose, really firing up those glutes, those hamstrings. Coming up as high as you can come. Knees remain in line with those hips. Squeeze your buns. Breathe. Feel how that engages the pelvis, the lower abdominals. Now slowly, slowly, one vertebra at a time, begin to release the spine, one vertebra at a time. We don't want to release all the way down, so I want you to keep that pelvic tilt and keeping that lower lumbar off the mat. And just before your tailbone would touch, I want you to re-engage and press it back up. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. This time I want you to come up to your toes. Squeeze, get those hips just as high as you can get them. And then begin at the very top of the spine, hollowing out the tummy and chest, slowly lowering your bottom back down, keeping those heels high. And gently release the heels down, but don't release that tailbone. Let's engage and lift. So we're keeping those last couple vertebrae off the mat, keeping that pelvic tilt, squeezing those buns. You guys should have buns of fire right now. And then slowly lowering it down, one vertebra at a time. We're going to do that one more time, you guys. Keeping that pelvic tilt. Don't release all the way down. And then slowly, let's take it back up. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Breathe all the way back up and up onto the tips of the toes. Squeeze those buns. Get them as high as you can get them. Slowly lowering back down, one vertebra at a time, starting at the very top of the spine, those cervical vertebrae, and coming all the way down, releasing the heels, and gently release all the way. And draw one knee in towards your chest, and then the other. That feels good. And just gently rock side to side. Nice work, you guys. Awesome as always. We come back to center. Bring the hands behind the thighs. Let's rock it up. Turn and face front. Finding a seated position that feels good to you. Bring the hands to the shins just below the knees. Take a big breath in. Press the chest forward. Arch your back. Gaze to the sky. Seated cat and cow. Exhale and hollow. Just transitioning between these two poses. Just moving with your breath, guys. Checking in. awesome work today on those hamstrings and those glutes. Hopefully, particularly with that last bridge series, you really felt those buns of fire. Again, such an important couple muscle groups to really learn how to fire and engage. Let's do one more each direction. Hopefully you were able to feel that and it felt pretty darn good. Hopefully not too foreign of an experience, and come up to a nice neutral spine. Let's turn the palms to face the sky, close the eyes, and just breathe. A gentle touch of your index finger to your thumb if that feels okay to you. If you prefer, you can rest your hands in your lap. And we're just going to take a moment with a sense of gratitude and joy, thanking the mind and the body for allowing us to take this journey today, to explore, to breathe, to find new ways to challenge the mind and the body, and to find this magical connection of movement and breath. That mind-body connection, guys, pretty amazing. Let's gently open the eyes, take a big breath in, reach to the sky. And exhale, pull the hands to heart center. I want to thank you so much for joining me today, for doing your part in taking care of you and creating the very best version of yourself that can exist today. Be well, my friends. Take care. Feedback is always welcome. I love to hear from you guys. Have an amazing rest of your day. Light and love to you each and every day, whether we're together or not. Until the next time, namaste.